Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I would like to welcome you each into our kitchen on this foggy evening where I'm going to start, because it's a 2-day process, soaking the beans and the corn for a very traditional Northeastern and Southeastern dish called Three Sisters Stew with venison. Yes, so I'm going to turn the camera around so we can talk a little bit more. It's called Three Sisters Stew for a reason. Beans, corn, and squash. I will be using more traditional to the northeastern tribes, cranberry beans. Now, you can also use black beans and pinto beans. They are native to the northeast and the southeast as well. And we're going to soak these overnight. Also, I'm using chopped white hominy corn. You can use fresh whole kernel corn if you want to. Now, for the squash, which will be added later on tomorrow when I bring y'all back and start cooking everything, I have my own dehydrated cushaw squash, and I have some butternut squash. I cannot find my dehydrated pumpkin. I have packed that away and haven't found it yet. If you are blessed to have the fresh winter squash, the pumpkin, the butternut, the cushaw, you can use it fresh, but you'll want to add it later on when you're cooking the dish. So I'm going to go over here, get these washed, picked through, especially the beans, and I'll bring y'all back here in a little bit. Okay, I have them both washed, picked through, and soaking in warm to hot water, not boiling, but tap hot water. These are cranberry beans. Now you'll see this white in with your corn. Don't worry, that's just natural cornstarch. It's fine. Nothing's wrong with your corn. So I'm going to cover these up. You want to cover them. Let them soak overnight on your counter. Definitely cover them, and so that no gnats will get into them, because believe me, a gnat will find its way if not careful. And I will bring you back in the morning when I get ready to start cooking it, and I will bring y'all back. See you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Man, it's early. I'm not ready for this. I ain't had enough coffee. But let's get to cooking. Now, I have strained out most of the soaking water. I leave some, and this is the hominy. I leave some of the soaking water because it has nutrients in it as well. And plus, I washed or rinsed the hominy really good last night. So I know for a fact that it's clean. The beans, the cranberry beans, have really rehydrated very, very nicely. I'm going to move the camera so y'all can see. They have rehydrated very nicely. Now, I'm not going to add any actual seasoning yet. I need to add more water. And don't worry, the hominy's going to swell up, and it's going to get bigger. I'm going to cut this on high. Let me go get some another bowl of water to put in the crock pot. Okay, got some more water. I'm going to fill it up about 3/4 of the way full. Move stuff around. because your beans and especially your hominy is going to continue to absorb moisture and swell up. Now I also got to thinking after when I was heading to bed last night, lima beans, y'all. Lima beans is another really good choice for the Three Sisters stew. Because large lima beans, small lima beans, the cranberry beans, uh, black beans, and pinto beans. Perfect choices. You choose which one you want to use. And like I said, I'm using the white dried chopped hominy. It's not lye soaked. And since traditionally this would have been cooked over a wood fire, which that's not happening outside, not today, especially too cold, too windy, because that cold front you can tell is coming through. I cheat a little bit. I'm going to add some hickory liquid smoke. Just a little bit. And yeah, in my terms, that was a little bit. And that will give it that kiss like it was cooked on a wood fire. And of course, you can omit it. You don't have to use it. Now, I've got my crock pot cut on high. I'm putting the lid on. I'm going to check it every so often. Give it a good stir. Make sure it's got plenty of water. And I'll bring y'all back in about 2 hours. That's when I'm going to add the venison, the dehydrated cushaw, and the butternut squash, and a little salt, because I'm going to try to keep it as traditional as possible. I'll see y'all back here after a while. Okay, welcome back. They have been cooking for a little over, well, a good while. They've been cooking over 2 hours. They're starting to swell up nicely. Oh, it smells so good, y'all. Okay, now I'm fixing to add my venison. It's still partially froze, so it's going to cool down the pot some, but that's okay. If you do not have venison, you can use beef, cubed beef. I've got cubed venison here. You can use cubed pork. You can use, if you want to, chicken, or you can just make a Three Sisters stew and leave it meatless. It is completely up to you. Preferably, I try to have my venison defrosted. It was close. So I'm just going to continue to keep coming back, stirring it. Now I'm going to add, oh, I forgot. I got a little something special here. I've got a jar of my homemade venison bone stock. There we go. I'm going to take some of this juice out. Hold on a minute. Okay, I'm going to take some of this, without getting any beans or corn. Now I'm going to reserve the stock in case I need it later on. Because I know the hominy corn is still absorbing water and filling up, getting rehydrated. Oh, I'm looking forward to this because it's going to be cold tonight. And this is going to be a wonderful dinner. And yes, it freezes. Okay, Now, I'm adding in my jar of venison bone stock. If you don't have it, you use chicken stock, vegetable stock, whichever stock that you like. No, they didn't have canned bone stock back then, but they did use bones in cooking and so on. So yeah, you have to realize this is as close to traditional as I could get. And this is my own dehydrated cut up butternut squash. I'm going to add a great big handful. And I'm going to add a jelly jar's worth of dehydrated butternut squash. Might as well. I still don't know where my pumpkin's at. I know it's still packed up in a tote somewhere. And I do have a video on how to dehydrate the butternut squash and the cushaw squash. I like quite a bit of squash in the stew. And of course, they're going to soak up the juice as well as they rehydrate. Oh, look at that. That's looking so good. And of course, this is going to thicken up. It's going to be a hearty, wonderful meal. And I think I'm going to make some cornbread to go with it. Alright, I'm adding a little bit of salt. Yes, the Americans had salt. We had natural salt licks. In America, there was natural salt licks here and there. And they also knew how to take seawater, boil it, as before it was all contaminated, boil the water out and gather the salt from it. Oh, I wish y'all could smell this. This smells so good. It's been a long time since I was able to make this. And like I said, you can use, if you don't have the dehydrated winter squash, you can use fresh, but you'll want to put that in closer to when the beans and the hominy are done. That way it doesn't disintegrate and just disappear in the stew, which it'll still be in there, but yeah, it ends up being great. Alright, I will bring y'all back. Oh, I know what I was going to do. Hold on. Me being me, or the taste like it was cooked over a wood fire. I'm adding this is the last of the liquid hickory smoke that I'm going to add. Now, they also had wild onions they would chop up, wild garlic. I might end up using some of my dehydrated garlic leaves in here. It all depends. I'll see how it tastes after a while. Once the venison gets good and cooked, I'll taste the broth, see how that's doing. Of course, make sure your venison is under the broth so it can cook. Stir it every so often. Check on liquid level. That's why I reserve the bean juice I took out, because you never know. You might have to put some back in, and I'll bring y'all back when it's almost done. See you after a while. Good evening, everyone. It's supper time, or dinner time is what I call it. That's because that's what Grandma taught me. It is dinner time. I wished I had smell-o-vision for y'all. The house smells amazing. This has gotten stronger and stronger aroma wise for the last couple of hours. Look at that. Oh no, I gotta bring y'all closer. Hold on. Look at that crock pot of happiness. Three Sister stew with venison. Look at that. This is going to be a stick to your ribs on this cold evening. Look at that, all cooked. The hominy's cooked, the beans are cooked, the venison's cooked, the, the butternut squash, the cushaw squash. It's still in there. So a lot of it has cooked down, but you know what? It's in there. It's Three Sisters stew time. Hold on. And I have a big old plate of homemade hoe cakes to go with it. Oh yeah. Had to break out the cornbread. I'm going to get Junior fixed first. I mean, it is hot. It's going to take a while for this to cool down. Oh, I wish y'all could smell this. And what we don't eat, I'm going to freeze up because I promised Junior lasagna tomorrow. Look at that. That's a plate full of happiness. Let me get mine plated up. Yep, I see pieces of the butternut squash and the cushaw still together. Well, make sure you get some of everything, especially those chunks of venison. I'm so blessed to have the venison. Simple, easy, paying homage to the ancestors that walked before us, who paved our way to be here. Look at that, big old chunks of venison. Alright, I'll be right back. I'm going to get Junior took care of first. Alright, I think it's cooled down enough. Junior's able to eat his. Of course, I'm not going to lie, I done cheated. I had some of my whole cake. I love cornbread. This is a dinner fit for a king. Oh, y'all, I wish y'all were here for this. This is amazing. Three Sisters stew with venison. I want to give thanks to my ancestors because without them, I wouldn't be able to cook this. Without them, I am honored to be able to eat this on this cold, windy night. Cold fronts move through, and what better to do than make Three Sisters stew with venison, crank up the crock pot, amazingly scent your whole home, and fill your stomachs with food that sustained our ancestors. I hope this encourages you to also make Three Sisters stew with venison or whatever meat of your choice or no meat whatsoever. Simple, easy, homemade crock pot. Now, of course, back in the day, it was either a rawhide cooking bag or a clay vessel over a campfire. Absolutely delicious. And of course, what we don't eat freezes well. Now, also, if you make a big batch of it, you can also can it. You need to thin it down just a little bit so it's not too thick in the jars. But yes, you can can it as well. Pressure can it. Simple, easy, homemade, one amazing dinner. Hope this encourages you to also make your own. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Please continue to stock up your pantries with food that will sustain and nourish you. It did our ancestors for a very, very long time and still is. Medicinals that will heal you. Protection of all kinds, and above all else, the bare essentials to survive on. Everyone, take care. Please stay safe and sound. Things are getting a little scary, or not so much scary, but a little hairy. People getting itchy trigger fingers with nuclear weapons. Everyone, take care, and may you each be blessed. Hoot, hoot. Love y'all, and I'll see you soon.